Welcome back to Wedded Whispers. I'm your DJ Willie D. This is episode 5. Don't hire a DJ. Sorry for the clickbait. What kind of sparked this is, as DJs, we're in all of the wedding groups, and we see once in a while maybe a bride hired a hobby DJ, or maybe a new DJ, or maybe it was a seasoned DJ that just had a bad day. It does happen from time to time, and as much as it sucks, it happens. And some of these brides will, promote that you don't need a DJ. And they say, well, my DJ sucked and you shouldn't hire one. You should just do it yourself. Or maybe there was a bride that, managed to orchestrate her day with an iPad and a Bluetooth speaker, and maybe it worked for her, and she's like, look, I did it on my own and it was great. Those are extreme outliers, and when I say extreme, that is the understatement of the year. While it can be done, and I have actually coached brides through what that looks like to do on their own, I have no problem doing that. Sometimes money is the matter, and they just need help doing or executing what they want their day to be. And I have zero issue doing that, and DJs can get mad at me all they want, but if they aren't going to hire a DJ, let's help you get that day done and have it be what you want it to be as best we can. What we're going to do today is walk through what I do with every client. We're going to walk through a basic timeline. In an effort, this is not necessarily a self-promotion, but this is a promotion of what your DJs can do for you, what your DJs should be doing for you in helping mitigate issues in your timeline and keeping your guests entertained and helping you understand what we do and what we can do for you. So this is a freebie for you. We're going to talk about a 5-hour timeline, 4 o'clock start, 9 p.m. stop. So the very first question I ask all of my couples is, are you doing a first look? That is the biggest, most important question where a timeline is concerned, where your big day is concerned. It affects everything. It can jar your timeline 45 minutes one way or the other, depending on what time of the year it is. If you're doing sunset pictures, it really is the big thing. So the timeline that we're going to go through today considers that we are doing a first look. So let's start by talking about what happens if you don't do a first look. If you do not do a first look, any pictures with the two of you as a couple in the pictures cannot happen until post ceremony. And there's no right or wrong way to do any of these things that I talk about in this timeline. There's no right or wrong way. It is your vision for your day, and we are to execute it as your vision dictates. But for the sake of just, nice and clean, this is the way we're going to do it. So if you've done a first look, all of your family pictures, those big group pictures with your, full wedding party, everybody included, all of those are done prior to the ceremony. 4 o'clock start, let's say we end up 5 minutes late. Ceremony takes 20-25 minutes. That gets us to 4:30. At 4:30, your guests are going to head up to the cocktail hour, and maybe there's, a handful of pictures left to take, and your photographer is probably going to get that done in 15, maybe 20 minutes. Probably less than 20 minutes. So we're ready to join in the cocktail hour at 4:45, 4:50. And I would promote, once your photos are done, mixing and mingling with your guests for one big reason, and we'll get there in just a couple minutes. So let's say we go ahead and finish out cocktail hour, and let's say we're ready to do intros at 5:15. Let's say we cut cocktail hour short by 15 minutes. Let's just, for the sake of a nice clean timeline. So we're doing intros at 5:15. Let's say we do intros and do your first dance, your father-daughter dance, and mother-son dance straight away. Again, this is a nice, quick, clean, time-saving timeline. So know that headed into this. So we do all the dances straight away and get you seated for dinner by 5:25, 5:30 at the latest. You're seated for dinner, and because at the end of cocktail hour, you've greeted a lot of your guests, you've hugged some necks, kissed some cheeks, everybody doesn't have to interrupt your dinner. You've already talked to the bulk of them. So this is going to allow you to really just sit and enjoy your dinner. You can get up if you want to. That's absolutely fine. Do whatever you want. But if you want to just sit down and eat because you're hangry, you haven't eaten since 11:30 when you had a Twinkie or that that granola bar or whatever it was you had. So you get to sit down and enjoy your dinner. And you don't have to break away until toast. So let's talk about your timeline as you sit down to eat. If you've got maybe, let's just say we've got 100 people to get moved through the line. That's going to take probably 20 minutes or so to serve. So as the first people that go through the line have sat down and they're finishing their food, the last people to go through the line and sit down, this is a perfect spot to do your toast, because you've got some people that are finished eating, you've got some people that have just started eating, so they can finish up while you're doing toast. You break away and do the toast. And one thing I want to talk about is making the most of your guests' attention. If you're going to focus their attention, make it worthwhile. I would suggest doing toast and cake cutting at the same time, or sorry, not at the same time, because that would be weird, but back to back. So let's say you break away at 6 o'clock to do toast and cake cutting. You only have to garner their attention once. The photographers don't have to regroup. You've already got your photographer's attention. They know what's going on. They know we're going from toast to cake cutting. So they've already moved all their gear. They're in position. It's a nice, smooth transition. Your DJ knows what to do. They've got the songs picked for your toast or for your cake cutting. It's already queued up. And we get done with cake cutting. After they do the cake's got to be cut up and get ready to serve. So after cake cutting, you're free to open the dance floor. You're free to open the dance floor at, let's say toast took 15 minutes and cake cutting took 5 minutes. Your dance floor is opening at 6:20. 6:20, maybe 6:30 if we had some extra toast given. So 6:30, your dance floor is open. The only things you've got left during the night are your bouquet toss, garter toss, and your grand exit. So let's say, again, for the sake of just a nice clean timeline, let's say that you've chosen to do a private last dance. So we're going to break away somewhere in there, bouquet, garter toss, depending on when the crowd is thinning out. Of course, you want those pictures to be nice and full if they're important to you. And those are things we're going to discuss as DJs with you is, how important are these pictures with the bouquet and garter toss? Do you want to make sure, we've got nice full pictures before anybody starts leaving? Do you want us to take the liberty to try to move that around or make you aware of the crowd thinning? We'll do that. We're more than happy to move around since we've got the room. We've got the room in the timeline to do any of this any way you want it done. So we do bouquet and garter toss somewhere in there. Let's just say we break the dance floor at 7:30 for bouquet and garter toss. The dance floor is back open and moving by 7:40. That's giving 10 minutes, a full 10 minutes for bouquet toss. That's, the big build up, the song playing, the bouquet toss, pictures taken with whoever caught it. That's garter toss, production, the toss and pictures taken again. So dance floor is back open at 7:30, and you've got a wide open dance. Sorry, 7:40. You've got a wide open dance floor for another hour and 20 minutes until your closing time at 9 o'clock. And this gives you a lot of room to really move your grand exit however you want. There are some times where you as a couple, you're planning to actually do your grand exit and actually leave, and maybe you've got that planned for 8:30. Maybe you're waiting till 9 o'clock to make that move. Whenever the vehicle's going to be there, maybe it's already on site and you can do it whenever you want. And again, as a DJ, we're going to ask you, how important is it for you know those pictures for that grand exit to be full? Um, do we want to pay attention and say, hey, the crowds kind of start thinning out, if we're going to do cold sparklers or maybe glow sticks, or maybe you've got a dancing on the cloud as you come through the line for your grand exit. What do you want it to look like? So we're going to make sure that we orchestrate that as best we can. And private last dance, I mentioned. Private last dance is one of those things that I think has a really unique and special energy. For me, the best success that I have for executing a private last dance is having the crowd's attention as we start lining them up for your grand exit. Typically, your grand exit, weather permitting, is going to happen outside. So we've got your guests, we're lining them up outside, and the two of you are enjoying your private last dance just to soak in the energy with the two of you in the room. Everybody is outside and just enjoying a private moment. As much as I can, I'm not even in the room. Typically, I'm outside lining everybody up, giving everybody instruction for the grand exit. So your private last dance ends, and you come out for your grand exit. Somewhere between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, depending on you know what your plans are. We do your grand exit, and the night's over. 4 p.m. start, 9 p.m. out. And the only thing we didn't address was sunset pictures. Sunset pictures. I waited till last to get into this because there's a lot of nuance, a lot of things that are to be thought about or considered when you're doing sunset pictures. Consider your sunset pictures, if it's important to you, early on. Make sure that your start time and your sunset pictures don't run into each other. Make sure that if you're not doing a first look and you have to have time for those pictures post ceremony, that you're not rushed. Maybe, if you can do an early start time, let's say, a 3 o'clock start time, not having done a first look, it's going to be, depending on the time of year, let's say we've got a 6:30 golden hour. So if you do a 3 o'clock start, that puts you in and eating dinner around 4:30 ish. So you can eat dinner, do toast, cake cutting, and then get out for your sunset pictures. Know that sunset pictures can take 30 upwards of 45 minutes, depending on where you are, what the scenery is. If you're having your reception somewhere that's special to you, maybe they've got some horses, maybe they got some scenery that you need to get on a golf cart or a gator and travel around, to these different spots that you want to take pictures at. You want to make sure that you account for that in your timeline. Decide if you're going to do a first look or not. Maybe you decide to do a first look to maybe make sure that you have that time post ceremony, so your guests aren't without you. If you have to go straight from post ceremony pictures, maybe 15-20 minutes of those, and go straight to those sunset pictures. You really want to think about that. It really kind of, first look and sunset pictures will almost dictate your timeline themselves. But these are things that a good DJ, an experienced DJ, will definitely speak with you about. They'll have planning solutions. Maybe they're using Vibo, which is what I use. Maybe they're using Honeybook or DJ Event Planner. All good planning platforms. But they will be able to walk you through these things and help you kind of orchestrate how your day goes. Because let's not sell DJs short. A DJ is the single vendor that ties your day together from start to finish. We orchestrate every transition, every move from one place to another. We're facilitating the vibe. We're facilitating announcements. We're the MCs. We are the only vendor that's going to be doing public speaking. We're the only vendor that's going to be likely missing out on a chance to eat dinner because we are doing other things. We're playing for cocktail hour. We're making sure the timeline is on track. We're touching base with the planners. We're touching base with your photographers. Don't sell your DJ short. Don't think it's one of those things where you don't necessarily need us, or that we play such a small part, we just show up and play music. We are the only vendor hired for the day that gets one take at every moment throughout the day. Your ceremony, if we're running mics, you only notice us if something goes wrong. If we play the wrong song, if that song was maybe supposed to be queued up at 1:13 and it was supposed to fade out at 2:37. Now, all of these things only happen with the seasoned DJ, with the DJ that knows what they're doing, and it's a lot. It's a lot in the planning phases. It's a lot just in the research and going through the transition, practicing everything, making sure our day of solutions are locked and loaded, making sure we understand your vision for the day. It's not something to be taken lightly, and it's not something that we take lightly. We really want to make sure that your vision for your day is executed the way that you want it executed. It looks like, feels like you. That's our goal. That's all I have for today. I hope you appreciate this content. I hope it's something that you can use. Feel free to go back and take another listen and jot down some notes with the timeline. I hope it's something that benefits you. If you find favor in what I'm doing here, if you would please go to that Q&A section right on Spotify. If you have a question that you want answered, a topic that you want spoken on, just let me know. I'm happy to do it. If you would follow me on YouTube, I would appreciate that. Every follower helps. If you want to share this to somebody that you know is getting married or planning on getting married, or maybe they're deep in the planning process already, send them to this. Maybe they find something they can use. But that's all for today, and we will see you between now and then.